Okay, so here we have the nine, and this theme is all about power. So in the resistance pattern, it's about disempowerment. So disrespecting, disempowering yourself or others. And on the genius talent side, it's about empowering people, empowering yourself, empowering others. So let's go a bit deeper. So in the resistance pattern, this can show up in a few different ways. It's ultimately though bullying others, disrespecting them, putting them down, and or doing that to yourself. It oftentimes is an arrogance of this inner limiting belief voice that says, "Oh, I'm better than other people." And it can also be coupled with an anger because is very real power there of destruction. So oftentimes what happens is when a person's a resistance pattern, they allow people to take advantage of them. And this, how we relate this energy is it's the dragon energy. So a way of looking at that is like poking the dragon. It's like imagine a dragon is sleeping. One example is like The Hobbit in that Lord of the Rings book / movie. There's a dragon there and it's sleeping. So it's like people will go up to the dragon and poke it to see if it'll awake. And they're unconsciously doing this because they're seeing what they can get away with your 9 energy. And oftentimes what happens with people is they get poked, they take it, they get slighted, they get disrespected. It might be just a small way. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It happens again, it happens again, it happens again. Maybe it happens one more time. And then all of a sudden the line is crossed. A switch flips, and it's like, oh, holy hell, the floodgates have opened. The dragon wakes up and just blasts fire. And not only does it blast fire at that person, but it goes down to the town and blasts the fire around every other person that person knew. It's that type of destruction energy. So the point of this is to not wait until that point. It's not to be walked on over and over and over and over again until the floodgates open up. The point is to recognize in the small ways when yourself or others are being bullied and to speak out strongly in that moment because it's like nipping it in the bud, as the saying goes. So you put that out right there instead of letting it snowball and snowball and snowball. So you don't have to deal with it. So in this theme of power, it's about what level of force to use. So in that instance, maybe there's a slight disrespect. You don't need to open up the floodgates. Maybe just a look or maybe just a puff of smoke. So it's a mastery of here. And it's really the king-queen energy expressed of knowing, in the genius talent anyways, of wielding the power and influence to know the proper dose at the proper time in the proper way. And that's why in the genius talent, it actually becomes a peacemaker because it's this tremendous power communicated in a way that people know, oh, wow, okay, if I keep going down that line, I'm going to get freaking blasted. And I'd prefer not. So in the genius talent, it actually creates peace as opposed to in the resistance pattern, it's just destruction. And ultimately in the genius talent, it's this ability to catalyze transformation, whether it's in yourself or others. So we see this in a lot of coaches, consultants, and it's this ability to burn through, just like a dragon, burn through the blocks that a person has so they can get moving towards their goal. And it is a tremendous amount of power, so it's important to be aware of the ego limiting belief that says, okay, I have this power, now I'm better than other people. I can do things that other people can't, so I'm better. I can go at a faster speed, so I'm better. So it's a very fine line, and that's something I share with people with this, is that just in general, but especially this theme, is that the greater our power grows, the finer the line between light and dark becomes. Because when we have a small level of power, we have greater leeway less ramifications of that, of our power, of, say, bad decisions. But as a person grows and our influence is higher and higher and we affect more and more people, even a slight degree off into the shadow can affect a ton amount of people. So that's why it's important that on this theme of power, because having the 9, you're here to wield tremendous power and influence. So it's important to be so impeccable with being in the proper use of it, so that you can still affect and empower people rather than disempower people. And that's what we've seen. We've seen a lot of times, especially in spiritual figures, where they maybe start off good and they're helping a lot of people, and then all of a sudden there's a certain point where things start getting weird. And then there's just like these experiences of the shadow coming out. And so, of course, none of us here are here to go on that path. In the business sense, in the business, it's just very common sense. You know, as you have more customers, more clients, more employees, it's important to be very dialed in. And nobody's perfect, but just to be on a path of, okay, let's wield this power wisely and justly for the betterment of all involved. Okay? And that's why this becomes tremendous king-queen energy, because it's having tremendous power at your disposal, but knowing when to use it, how to use it, and in what dose. And it's important with this to recognize anger. There's a lot of anger with the dragon. And it could be pent up from slight disrespects or other things like that. So it's important to have a outlet for your anger to channel through. And the more that you have an outlet, whether it's martial arts, whatever it might be, then the easier it becomes to navigate and wield that power wisely and justly for the betterment of others. And a lot of times with the 9s, it's about everybody can receive guidance, consulting, coaching, of course. This key here is to learn how to listen to your inner voice, which is true for everybody. Usually, the decision with a 9 is that a person hears their inner voice and knows what they need to do, but then they don't listen to it. And then, they take advice from other people that they know really shouldn't do, but then they act on it. So this is about you knowing your own truth and having the confidence and trust, building the confidence and trust to act on that inner knowing, because it's there. So the last thing I'll close with is the power of a look. Oftentimes when people have 9s, there's a certain look that they get in their eyes when they're pissed. And other people, might have told you before, like, whoa, you looked at me like you just wanted to kill me or something like that. And so this goes into the proper dose of your power. So it's in there. And it's important to get used to or build a relationship with like that dark inferno inside of you that just wants to destroy things. Because as you connect to that relationship, you understand how you can use that power in a healthy way. And for example, instead of like blowing up at somebody who disrespects you, you can give them a look and nothing is said, but they know that, oh, okay, I did something I shouldn't have. And then they know they should change, So I'm just introducing this idea to you because there are, in the resistance pattern, it's just like, hey, the only way to show my power and get people to respect my power is for me to blow the fuck up. Okay? Then they'll be sorry. Then they'll know my power. In reality, the genius talent is living in such a way that people respect. It's just like a great martial artist where they don't have to beat everybody into submission, but other people can feel it in their presence. And it actually helps other people connect to their power better. And that's what we've got here is the relaxed intensity, the quiet power that doesn't need to say much or anything at all, but people feel it and they respect it. And that's ultimately what people with the 9 want, is people to respect their power. And that can only happen when A, you respect your own power, And B, you start respecting the power of others. So 9s all want respect. Start off by giving respect to other people, just like you want them to, and it will naturally happen for you.